35th District Representative Dan Griffey. Good morning, Dan. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I am well. It's a Friday. It's nice to see you here on the air as we talk weekly about things that are happening around the area and legislative sessions. Today's Friday. It's cutoff day here, and that means House bills.
It means I'm doing CPR all day on my bills. I'm negotiating with agency staff to say, don't hate my bill so much, so the chair kills it.
Let's get this thing going here.
Yes.
One of the bills that came out yesterday that was passed, I think, unanimously yeah. was a bill that you had some work on with too, co-sponsoring and help writing some amendments for the Dye bill about wildfire protection.
Yeah,
right?
so I'm the co-chair of the Wildfire Caucus in the House, and what our job. What we organized to do is try to find a way to help DNR modernize, and how can we affect quicker and better forest fire attacks. And we basically came up with a model that they use in Spain. Spain has is a similar size, similar foliage, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
They fight almost all of their fires by air. And they have very quick air response, be it a tanker, air tanker, fixed wing, or a rotary aircraft. And so what this bill would do is establish a pot of money that would, the local jurisdictions, before DNR gets there, would be able to deploy an aircraft, put the fire out before it gets big. That's right. Kind of the idea behind it.
What does it mean for the minutes at the beginning of a wildfire?
Oh, minutes are, acres.
Yeah.
That's, if you could in the first few minutes in a wind-driven fire, you could have a couple acres or more. And if you could get ahead of it, put water on it, and stop it, it doesn't turn into a 100,000-acre fire and displace people from their homes. So we think it's a landmark piece of legislation. Now we're having trouble funding it through the Appropriations Committee, but we're going to keep pushing to try to get. It's really the right policy for Washington, especially Eastern Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to keep going, and I think. If we don't get there this year, we'll probably get there next year.
It's one of these bills where you pony up a little bit of money in the front end, and it really benefits later on. Sometimes that's hard to explain or be able to show that. Is that right? It is,
and I think that's we're probably gonna go into appropriations and see if we can put a clause in there, a sunset clause. So the rest of the policymakers have a comfort that we are going to save money. Maybe a couple fire seasons we try it out and see how it happens. There is a fire district in Eastern Washington that actually does this, but they're paying for it out of their own pocket. And then I found out yesterday that there was every wildfire where they have to call WSP to shut down the road, WSP is charging them for that service. And I was flabbergasted when I heard that, because if there's a tree over the road or if there's a motor vehicle collision, that kind of thing, we're not charged.
Yeah.
So it's the things we work on in Olympia sometimes come to you in really strange ways. And this is just a conversation that I had with one of these fire chiefs. I said, you paid $10,000 to have WSP close a road because of hazard. What's WSP's job? I mean,
yeah.
You would
that
think,
is interesting.
Oh, it's not. It's more than interesting. It really makes me mad.
So then you have unwrapped this new gem, and what do you do with it?
Well,
do you have a?
Yeah, now I go to Captain Monica Alexander, the legislative liaison to WSP, and say, hey, Monica, what's the deal? And she's like, well, RCW yada yada is gonna says we have to yada yada, and now I have to go look up RCW and see if I can find a bill to fix it. But it just makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it absolutely makes no sense that these small jurisdictions would have to pay WSP for the service that they provide.
It is interesting.
And should provide.
Oh, my gosh. It's never done, right? People's work is never done.
It is never done. Good for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this moved out and will be headed to the Senate with the cutoff date today. And unless the bills have budgetary impacts, they have an extra.
Yeah. This is going straight to appropriations.
Yeah.
So that's the next fight we have on this bill is appropriations. As well with my statute of limitations bill, we're still fighting in appropriations to get that funded, and I'm hoping that they're gonna, smarter heads will prevail and we'll get it out finally.
I talked to Senator Sheldon yesterday, and I asked him if he had his eyes on any of the House bills that would be moving over into the Senate. Are you seeing or hearing anything in the Senate side that you're really interested in taking up in the House?
Yeah, actually, two Growth Management Act bills. So our caucus chair, Shelley Short, was promoted or demoted, however you look at it, to the Senate. And she didn't have any bill ideas, and she saw my two GMA bills weren't moving, so she and Senator Sheldon quickly sponsored these bills and got them heard. So I'm looking forward to those.
Oh, okay.
They might not have my name on them, but it's my language, so we get the policy. So I'm actually looking forward to that, see if we can get them to talk about it over there. But the House committees wouldn't take it up.
Did you meet Norm Johnson yesterday?
I did meet Norm Johnson.
Not the representative, but the kicker.
Yeah. Well, Norm's been a good friend of mine for a long time, but it still feels kind of really neat that, my childhood hero, I can go up and say, Norm, and Norm says, "Hey, Dan, how you doing?"
Yeah.
It's still, I don't care how old I am, it's still kind of a tickle in your stomach sort of thing.
It's got to kind of, as one of the reports that I was airing today from John Sackgass was saying, that it kind of lightens the mood, especially on the cutoff day. A lot of peoples have been working very hard to see bills move through committees or get scheduled hearings, and there's a lot of nervous energy there. But when those kind of things happen, that's got to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, it was great. It's awesome. But, like I said, I've known Norm for quite a while. Actually met him through my wife in real estate because he's a real estate agent up north. Yeah, it's fun.
How was Travis Couture last week? You had him on the air. You guys were going to be working on some things, a little job shout-out. He have a good day out there?
He did.
In the Capitol?
He had a really good time. And, I think we're pretty close to the language that we want to, that he and I both think would be the best language for Washington State on how we're going to get out of the civil assets forfeiture scheme into a criminal assets forfeiture scheme.
Very nice. Well, Dan, it's always nice talking with you. I know you got a busy day today, trying to get any bills that you're still hoping for. You get one last shot at it today.
Yeah, we have one senior center exemption bill.
Yes, Senator Sheldon was talking about that too.
Department of Revenue just came unglued about it, and
so tell us the backstory on this one. We talked a little bit about it yesterday with Senator Sheldon. He kind of explained it, but
yeah. So basically, when a senior center rents out their facility, they have a certain number of rentals they can do without taxation, and then the rest of them they're taxed on. So what we're trying to do is exempt them from that tax, because we think that tax shift would be better used by the senior center because they're Meals on Wheels and all that kind of thing that they can do. But Department of Revenue has come unglued about it. They are dragging their feet. They don't like it. So now the chairwoman of the committee doesn't want to do it any longer. So we'll be negotiating the rest of the day long to say, hey, this is really important. Department of Revenue doesn't want any tax shift. I mean, they want more taxing authority, and so that's what trying to portray to the the importance to the chairwoman, that we tell the Department of Revenue what's going on. They don't tell us what's going on.
Not the other way around.
And I'm not doing very well. Not doing very well.
Does the Revenue have a number that they are saying this is how much income?
Mason County wide would be a tax shift of $4,000.
That the senior center could keep.
Yes.
Senior centers, I should say.
And then basically it shifts kind of a tax burden over to all the other taxes that are collected in Mason County.
Makes some sense, and hopefully you get some movement on that today.
Yeah, well, I'll be doing CPR on a lot of bills, I guarantee you.
35th District Representative Dan Griffey, always nice talking with you.
Yeah, you have a nice day.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too.